Hello everyone, my name is Dr. R. Shaktivel Murugan, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So in this video, we are going to discuss about some design rules in 3D printing. So in general, 3D printing is an additive manufacturing technique. It can be classified into several types. So according to F42 committees in the year of 2015, mostly all the additive manufacturing process is categorized into 7 groups. So in this video, we can discuss first about what are the general characterization and what are the general design rules, and then we will discuss detailed about some design rules exclusively for binder jetting process. Okay, so first let us start. So in the earlier videos, we can discuss about what is additive manufacturing process and the introductions and how the layer by layer additions happen and how 3D printing happens. But in this video, we will generally only focus about the design rules. So why the design rules are important? So the design rules are important if we have designed for 3D printing, the product after the 3D print, so will be made fragile or will be broken out, or at the time of a post-processing process it can be broken out. So in order to ensure the quality and accuracy and also the in order to fabricate the end user products using 3D printing process, we have to mainly focus on these design rules. So now let us discuss about the design rules one by one. So the design rules is important only if you consider all these constraints and considerations of the main parameters of 3D printing process. These 3D printing parameters will be common for most of the additive manufacturing process, like fused deposition modeling, binder jetting process, stereolithography apparatus, LOM process, and also even metal additive manufacturing process. One of the main parameters is layer thickness. So what is layer thickness? The ability to build or print the layer and the next layer. So it may be differs from layer to process to process. In fused deposition modeling, the minimum layer thickness is 0.4 through the nozzle. But in binder jetting process, the binder is extruded through a fine nozzles. It can be minimum up to 0.8 mm. So at the same time, if you move to some fused stereolithography apparatus, mostly the layer can be formed by using the layer which is sintered over the others. So the layer thickness is one of the main important parameters which is the very essential for 3D printing process. Then the accuracy and tolerances. So for every design, there is an objective of some accuracies and design tolerances and support structure style. So there are 3 types of structures in most of the open source softwares. What type of support structures, whether we need wide support structures or narrow support structures or tree support structures, which is essential for selecting the 3D printing process. Then infill style. So most of the open source softwares, the infill style may be vary, because in most of the open source softwares it may be a simple one, rectangular one, hexagonal one. There are several types of infill structures are there. So we have to select correct according to that. Then the vertical wall thickness is the thin layer. It is the aspect ratio of the width to height, that is the wall thickness, and it is both vertical to vertical walls and horizontal walls. And the support materials, it represents the overhangs and also the angle between the supports. So everything is important, and for moving parts we have to give some proper clearances, and for threading screws and some other holes and circular holes, and for designing the pins, for everything the design rules are very important. So let us discuss one by one. So first we will discuss in general. So this is layer thickness. For example, these 3 are the same component but printed with 3 varying layer thickness. So in the other side, we have printed this component with 0.1 layer thickness, and this one is printed with 0.2 mm layer thickness and this one is printed with 0.3 mm layer thickness. So what happens? So the 0.1 layer thickness needs so many number of layers to fabricate this entire one. So the printing time needs to form this 0.1 mm layer thickness consumes more time, but in 0.3 mm the printing time is less. But what is the advantages? So here the layer is 0.1 mm. It is but the 0.3 mm is 3 times larger than this. So due to this, here the surface finish is more fine, but in 0.3 mm the surface finish is more rough. So whether our objective is to print the end user components in a very short time, or whether it is accuracy oriented part, we have to select these types of layer thickness wisely. Then the accuracy and tolerances. So we have designed this 3D printing only from our CAD model. The CAD model is converted to STL files. So after the STL files, we have to know about the tolerance of the end user products. So once if you know the tolerances, the standard accuracy for ABS is just 15%, with this lower than the tolerance which is needed from the CAD file, that is plus or minus 0.2 mm. So we have to maintain that tolerance, otherwise the component cannot be used as a end user product. And in the material extrusion process, the same thing, that we have to maintain it for 0.01 inches. So these are the thumb rules for maintaining the tolerance in design rules for 3D printing. And this is the wall thickness, and this is the overhang angles. So this wall thickness, it is nothing but the aspect ratio of the height and the width. So minimum we have to maintain some minimum wall thickness mm. So for each and every process it varies. So if suppose the wall thickness is less than the recommended wall thickness, then it may be allowed to some warping issues, or it may be fragile and it can be broken out. If the wall thickness is too high than the recommended values, then there should be another problem of fusing or some binding the layer that is bonded together. That is also a major problem. So the wall thickness should not be maximum and it should not be very minimum. It should be within an allowable size. And the angle, overhang angle, so here this is the over angle with respect to the horizontal. So it should be maintained with the recommended angles, or else the additional support materials needed. If the support materials needed means the material cost is also too high, and after the post processing techniques we need additional efforts to remove this extra support structures. And likewise some clearances, in case if you want to design some moving objects, we have to maintain some proper clearances for each and every 3D printing process. Likewise for pins. So the pins is used for assembly of each and every 3D printing components one to others. So for designing these types of pins and some threading features, we have to follow some recommended design rules. And hole structures. So here it is a square hole, it is a circular hole. So the holes is two types, one is vertical hole, another one is horizontal holes. So there is a separate design rules for designing the vertical holes and horizontal holes. So for most of the vertical holes, so the size may be very small, that is if it is a circular diameter, so it is 0.8 mm, but if it is a horizontal hole, it may be around 0.9 mm. So that wise we have to maintain the proper design rules, so just to maintain the. So now based on these design rules, let us discuss some specific design rules for binder jetting process. So what is binder jetting, that we have already discussed in the earlier videos. So binder jetting process is one of the additive manufacturing techniques where the layers of powder, we are using the powder as the material. So the powder here it is consists of 4 stages. The first stage is powder inputs. After that the binder sprinkling process. Once the binder will be, but just a binder is nothing but just a liquid. So liquid can be droplets over this entire powders. The powders can be bind one particle with another particles like a glue. So after that, one more important process, that is sintering processes happen. In the stage of sintering process, then all these binded powders can be fused together and can be able to make a hardened materials. And at the last stage, we have to depowder. So once if the depowdering stage only, we have to remove the excess powder from the entire binding process. So this is the process. But in this case, if you are considering the wall thickness, so if you are considering the over wall thickness, that is more than the recommended size, what happened is the binder after the sintering process, it cannot be able to bind each other. So for example, the recommended design size is 25 mm for binder jetting process. If it is exceed more than 25 mm, so at the time of sintering stages, it can't be able to bind one particle with the other particle that is more than 25 mm. So what happens, based on this, it can't be able to make the required designs. So it can be ended in some failure. So also that component cannot be achieved with more tolerance and accuracies. So therefore we have to maintain the recommended wall thickness. So it should not be very too high. And at the same time, the minimum wall thickness. So the minimum wall thickness is, so here this is the wall, that is the thickness between the one end to other. So minimum we have to maintain 0.75 mm in binder jetting process. If suppose if you are designing the entire component with less than 0.75 mm, this entire component may leads to some fragile component, or it can be easily broken out. So or else there is another issue known as wrapping issues, where the walls can be able to bend or twisting or fold like that. So in order to overcome these issues, we have to maintain the minimum wall thickness as 0.75 mm. Then this aspect ratios. So aspect ratios is the ratio between the width to height. So mostly this is the height and this is the width. So for each and every height and width, we have to maintain some proper aspect ratios. So here height to width, that wall should be maintained between 0.75 and 2 mm. So here it is 2 mm and this is 0.75 mm. So these leads to some failures, and at the same time the printed components within this area leads to some better results. So at the same time the width should be maintained with the minimum ratios of, that is 0.5 mm. So therefore the walls width, if it is less than 1 mm, so therefore it should not be exceeded to 4:1 ratios. At the same time, if the walls width is greater than 1 mm, so if it is more than 8:1 ratio, it leads to failures. So we have to maintain the proper width and also the proper height to maintain this proper definition build. So in case if your designed component is having minimum wall thickness, but at the same time it is having the larger height, then it may leads to some failures due to some indefinite selection of this aspect ratios. So similarly, this aspect ratios concept is also applicable to these types of slot depth to width. So here there are several slots, that is the holes also happen. So with the varying width, so from 0.1 mm to 1 mm width to the height, that is this is the width and this is the height. It is also happens. So here also you have to maintain the proper aspect ratios. So if the slots width is greater than 0.2 mm, that is the greater than 0.2 mm, that will not be able to print, because due to that oversize, and also here the depth, it can't be able to make the end user parts at the depowdering stages. And at the same time, if it is less than 0.2 mm, it can't be able to print, and at the same time it will be leads to the failures. And likewise it is similar process applicable to the hole depth to the diameter. So here also you have to maintain the proper holes, that is the hole should be greater than 0.75 mm, or else the holes cannot be printed. At the time of printing stages, the holes may be overlap each other, it can't be able to produce the fine accurate holes. And these are the internal channels. So mainly for the molding tools or rapid manufacturing options. So these types of tubes, there we need to, this is known as internal cooling channels. For this we have to maintain a proper internal diameters. If the diameter is too small, then the holes cannot be fabricated properly using this 3D printing techniques. So therefore we have to maintain a proper diameter, that is the hole diameters, for these types of design of this internal cooling channels and these types of tubes. So for several types of tube, for example, if this tubes it is like overhang structures, if the overhang is more than 1 mm, definitely it leads to some deformations. So in order to avoid the deformations, we have to design these types of rib structures below these tubes. So once if the design is modified like this, we have to make these tubes as more rigid and able to make the entire component in a more end user products in a very user friendly manner. So therefore we have to design these tubes like this. And sharp edges. So while 3D printing, the first another one important thing is avoiding the sharp edges. So in case if you want to avoid the sharp edges, in the design stage you have to make some fillets like this. The fillet radius at least you have to make the minimum of 0.5 mm, then only it could be able to develop the component in the 1/1 stage. So if suppose if it is too sharp, then it can't be able to develop at the production stage of the binder jetting process. And the internal corners, so below this internal, what happens actually, the sharp corners may happens. So in order to avoid those internal corners like this equivalent to the sharp edges, so you have to maintain proper fillets. If you maintain the proper fillets, then the surface should be very smooth. Once if the smooth surface has been happen, so definitely this component has been able to print in a more rigid manner, that will be very useful for fit and make use of this end user products in most of the automotive or aerospace components. And the final one is text features. So the text is two categories, one is embossing text, another one is de-embossing text. So here for the embossing text, it is only depends on the height of the embossing text. So here the minimum embossing text that we have to maintain as 1 mm height. So if suppose if it is more than 1 mm, as like it is the same things that is applicable to the wall thickness. And the next one is de-embossing stages. So here you have to focus on the two aspects, one is the depth, another one is the width. So for both the depth should be the depth should be at least minimum 2 mm, then only it could be able to visible in our naked eye, or else if you the bindings process and in the time of decentering, it may be overlapped. And the width, it should be minimum as 0.5 mm. So only if you are maintain this aspect as a width as 0.4 and the depth as 2 mm, then only you could be able to print these types of de-embossing text. And this is embossing text only the. So that's all. So these are the main design rules that is focused for design rules, which is mainly focusing for the binder jetting process. Okay, in the next video we will discuss about the same design rules for stereolithography apparatus process. So thank you.